Monday morning, and it is another meeting at the Vaal on their main track today. 8 races are carded. The weather is still cold in Joburg, so it's expected to be a maximum today of 20 degrees actually at the Vaal, so it does get up pretty high there today. There's been no rainfall and hasn't been for a while here, but the track condition at the Vaal is good. 22 is the penetrometer reading. Neil's waiting for me. I can tell you, Neil, that Calvin Habib, Marco van Rensburg and Tristan Godden are all not riding today. Tristan Godden had a few rides that he was carded to ride, I think principally for YM Mowing, but he's had flight complications, so won't be making it to town. But we had a good day on Tuesday.
Yeah, we had a nice day on Tuesday and got a lot of compliments tipping the Seister Labuschagne or Labuschagne, whichever you prefer.
He would definitely, knowing Flippy, he definitely goes by Labuschagne. He doesn't go by He'd be offended if you called him Labuschagne. Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, it was a good day, and you worked out that first timer really well, Nico. So you would be pleased with that because that went off at 25-1.
Yeah, that beat Avalos. So you said actually, Neil. We're stroking each other's egos and patting each other on the back, which people don't like. Some people don't like, but at the end of the day, the evidence is there if they go back and look. But you said there was going to be a first timer that would beat Avalos. Little did we know that our two heads were better than one, because I found a first timer that I thought was a decent price and well bred, and that was the horse that ended up beating Avalos. So anyway, it's great. The show's working well. We're gelling well, and let's hope that we've got it in store for the punters out there today. I have to confess up front that I'm a bit light in the latter part of the card today because I just time got the better of me, and it unfortunately my kids demanded my time yesterday. So I'm going to rely on you for a lot, but I do have a 5-star bet today, which I very rarely have. I know
that's good because that's in the one race where I'm a bit weak on. You told me
so
race 3.
It is. I normally give 4 ticks when I'm very confident, but I've given 5 today, and that's the maximum. So let's go through it, Neil. Let's start in race 1, which is maiden plate fillies and mares 1,000 meters. Scratched as 7 Hindi Princess, 12 Sing for Susie, and 14 What a Honey, leaving 11 runners. The jockey changes for number 9, Alula's Star, now ridden by apprentice Macaulay, who claims 2.5. Pillar Sunday rides that, and in the first race there's a slight change of ownership, which won't affect us on the 5. But what does affect us with the 5 is the money for the 5. Faiza's Princess, the first timer, daughter of Vaal, Neil, out of Jet Set Go, who was a 3-time winner. Won between 1,000 and 1,400, but most importantly, this filly is a half-sister to On Cue, who we know is a speedster, and who won on Tuesday, which I wasn't particularly happy with, but it beat one of my horses actually at the end of the day. But Faiza's Princess, well-related, and there's no jockey change for Elder Domaya, which means he's coming up to ride one horse. He might stay the weekend. I haven't looked at the weekend's card, but if he's coming up to ride one horse, well, that's interesting in itself.
Yeah, Nico, and those are the two things that I rang. Obviously, the pedigree, being a daughter of Vaal, and I rang Aldo de May, but I also rang the fact that it's a 4-year-old. So they've been obviously patient with her. There's a lot of 3-year-olds, newly turned 3-year-olds, and there's newly turned 4-year-olds. This is a newly turned 4-year-old. So I think that is the key to the race. Obviously, with the scratching of the 14 What a Honey, who probably would have been a red hot favorite. So Nico, yeah, I think that's the obvious horse. Beyond that, let me just talk about some of the horses with form. I thought the other runner that was quite interesting was number 9, Alula's Star, because we mentioned how good Stuart Pettigrew is, but Marco van Rensburg not riding. But now the apprentice is taking some weight off. So I think if there's any money for Alula's and you like the look of that, I think you can throw it in because the Red Rays, I think, will do nicely. Super Tanay or Tanai.
You went for her last time, Neil, at a big price, and you said she'd run a place, and she did.
I did, and I think she'll be on the premises, but I don't think she's a winner. I think that again, it's going to come from one of the first timers here for me, and the two likely runners are the 5 and the 9. Although interesting to see Gerald Sadler, who owns number 10, Bashasha has booked Samunga Kamalo to ride, Nico. So I think that needs to be taken cognizance of. The improver in the race might be number 11, Rocking the Time Away. He's only had the one start, was slow out, and with Craig Zaki riding from a 14 draw, I think there might be some improvement. But coming back to it, I think the key is Aldo de Meyer and riding for his dad.
So just to confirm, he does have 2 rides on Saturday for one for Ashley and Andrew, and the other one for St. John Gray. So he's obviously staying up here. He's not just coming up to Joburg for just the one ride today, but the fact is that he's still coming up to ride a couple. Bard of Avon is the one that he rides on Saturday at Turffontein. So that's a good horse. We know it won the feature race down at Greyville on July Day as well. So yes, Neil, you know what? When I looked at the horses with form, the horse that I came up with was Smelting, who's had 19 tries and yet to crack it. Now, you know, that's the point, is if Smelting's the best of the horses that have run, then you're looking towards a first timer. They backed Phases Princess from an opening chalk up of 4-1. Neil, Phases Princess was priced up 4-1 into 8-10. We know that it doesn't take a lot of money to shorten first timers, but there has been quite a significant amount of money for Phases Princess. Neil, you've mentioned a couple of others from the first timer ranks. I just want to mention one other, and that is number 13, Twilight Sparkle. Which is down at 25-1. Now, on breeding, you'd say, my goodness, Neil, it's a daughter, Nico, it's a daughter of fencing master, you know, out of a dynasty mare. The mare, Zrinsky, won once over 7 furlongs, 1400 meters, was placed 9 times. But what's interesting about her is that she's a full sister to a horse called Walls of Dubrovnik. And what I noticed about Walls of Dubrovnik is that he has gone to Mauritius. Okay, he was sold to Mauritius at the end of last year, and he's had 2 starts this year, both wins, and one of them was over 990 meters, and it won by 7 lengths. Now you know the Mauritius 990 meters is a fast one round the turn. And to win by 7 lengths over 990 meters at Champ de Mars takes a fair horse. So what I'm saying is, if the full sister is running today for the first time, she may well be a sprinter. So I'd watch 13 Twilight Sparkle, Neil, from the first timer rank. She could well be quick, and if she's half as quick as Walls of Dubrovnik has shown in Mauritius, then she's also a lively candidate. But I think with all the money for Phases Princess, who are we to doubt that she'll rock up in the first race of the day? So that's my assessment of the first.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let's go on to race number 2. By the way, well done for your for our price booster. We ran a fair race, Alain Le Bleu, on Tuesday.
Yeah, we got a nice run. Yeah, and she played. We got 7-2 a place. And she
That's right.
Was in doubt of missing a place.
That's right. So she was 7-2 a place, and that was decent for the first 3. But 25-1 for the win. I don't think she was likely to win there. But the point was, we got the price booster right, I think, on Tuesday. So let's see for one today. Let's go on to the second race, Maiden Plate 1,000 meters. Here, just the changes to do those first. No scratchings. Warren Kennedy rides number 3, Freedom Dancer, and Cabello Matsunyani rides number 11, Pakamali. And then there are quite a few changes here. The 3 Freedom Dancers got blinkers, Alamites in front, Unshot behind, and then blinkers gone. Number 9, Gone in Time. I think that's a late change. Gone in Time, number 9, now has blinkers. So here's the betting. Lulu's Boy is the favorite, just ahead of Rosara, and then King Spear and Pakamali. Your assessment of this one?
Yeah, I think it's quite tricky. I think you've got to go fairly wide in the bipot and the P. Well, I don't know. I'm going to take my chances, but you know, I acknowledge that it's going to be a bit of a chance I'm taking. I'm going to start with number 1, King Spear. I quite like the fact that Muzzy's got back on this and he's got the blinkers on. And I think from a 12 draw, that's going to improve him further. He's always shown a little bit of pace, but I think he's going to be even keener and quicker with those blinkers on. And over the minimum trip of 1,000, I think that's exactly what he needs. Earlier on, he was campaigning over 6 furlongs, but I think this 1,000 is going to suit him. So he's my first choice. He's also a 4-year-old, although I suppose that doesn't really come that much into play over 1,000, not as much as it would do over 1,400 or a mile. The mother, Chantel, in the back of my mind, I think that was either owned by Lee Westwood or Dave Mollett, which is quite a variance because Lee Westwood is, on handicap terms, is a professional golfer, and Molly probably would shoot 100 on the first 9.
Well, I can fill in there because I called Chantel. She was very quick, but she ran in Gary Player's colours. So Lee might have been
Lee Westwood had a share.
Lee might have been a partner, but it definitely ran in the black and white of Gary Player, the Black Knight, as we know him. And I fully agree with you with your top selection, Neil. I make him the one to beat. And like you say, Muzzy's probably turned around to Grant Maroon and said, put blinkers on this horse and I'll come back and ride it. And I think that is that, for me, it's the horse to beat at 7-2.
So we agree there with King's Spear. The blinkers on, Muzzy 12 draw. I think you've got to respect Lulu's Boy. I think he'll run his race. I don't know if he's got as much scope because he's a 5-year-old now already and he hasn't won. But I think he'll run a nice race. He shows good pace and I think he'll be there on the premises. But he's drawn 3. I prefer, as we've said, King's Spear drawn 12. Freedom Dance is interesting in so much as Kennedy's picked up the ride and the blinkers go on, but really going to have to pick up his feet. The roughie for me, Nico, and I'm going to come back, obviously, well, let me start actually by talking about 12 Rosara. If the Fortune Yard win the first race, as we suspect they might, then you've got to respect that. But she's a 3-year-old. She's the only filly in the race. So I think she might run a place, but I don't think there's any value. The horse I thought might be a little bit of value was number 8, Samuel Salt of the 3-year-olds. He's a son of Vercingetorix, and he had excuses last time. I remember he broke through the gates and then he was slow. So he's had a few excuses. But the Bard of Avon and William Robertson form has worked out okay. Both of those are decent. And I thought he might be a little bit of value at 10-1. But cutting to the chase, well, the last thing I want to say, obviously number 11, Paka Imali, there was money. There was no money for it rather on debut. Opened 5-2 and drifted. I suppose from an 11 draw that will run well. But for me, the clear horse is number 1, King Spear. So I said I'm going to take a chance, and that's where I'm going to take a chance with King Spear, banker in the bipod, and banker in the PA.
I agree with that. I think it's the horse to beat, and we've said that numerous times talking about this one. I do respect Lulu's Boy, and funny enough, I did like a bit of Freedom Dancer with the blinkers on, Neil, and the booking of Kennedy. Kennedy has ridden it before, but it was way back at Gravel on the poly track, so today is a completely different story on that front, but it's got the blinkers back on. Could be an improver there. But yeah, we're both on King's Spear. Let's move on to the third race now, Neil. This is at 2:05. It's a maiden plate over 1,700 meters. The scratching here is Joe Harmon, which now means there's only 6 runners, which means always the pace is an interesting factor here. But scratches of the 3, Joe Harmon, and there's no other changes. Well, Neil, I know you didn't really look at this, but I looked at it and studied it quite hard. And when I looked at it and said, the horse I liked, I thought it would be odds on. The fact that it's 18-10, Neil, means that it could be empty out today for me, because I made this stay the course a very strong bet today.
And tell us why.
Well, Neil, so firstly, when you look at Brenner, let's take Brenner Pass and Quality Joker. Let's just have a look at that quickly. So if you look at Brenner Pass beat Quality Joker on the Willow's Wish line by almost 5 lengths. Okay. And then you look at Stay the Course and Quality Joker on the Pride of Paris run. There are, I think, 6 3/4 lengths between them there. So technically speaking, Stay the Course has got Brenner Pass beat if you looked at Quality Joker as the Lion horse. Then you go to Light Warrior, Neil. Light Warrior beats Brenner Pass by about a length and a quarter. Stay the Course has got it. Brenner Pass beat by a bit more than a length and a quarter, and they're all at levels. And then you go to Light Warrior and Parker Getrix, and Light Warrior's got Parker Getrix beat by half a length. But the important thing of all is that if you use Signals as a line horse, Stay the Course has got Signals thumped. Yes. And Signals has beaten both Light Warrior and Parker Getrix. You know my feelings on Light Warrior. Even Samanga Kamala, even Samanga Kamala's deserted Light Warrior.
Yeah, Light Warrior is in his place. I mean, he might pick up a very weak maiden, but they're not going to get any weaker now, really, with these 3-year-olds coming out. So that was my. I suppose he'll keep earning his place money.
So that was my feeling. Then you go to Indian War Dance, Neil, and there is a bit of form if you go back and look at Indian War Dance, who's only had the one run and could well improve from that 11 lengths behind Winter with Joe. So he really is an unknown factor and could throw a spanner in the works in a 6-horse field. But remember, he is a 3-year-old, and you quite rightly mentioned that he's got to get 9 kilos, and he's getting 3 for the weight for age scale in August. So I made this a 5-star bet. I can't see it getting beat, and I'm taking 18-10, and I'm taking lots of it.
Okay, well, there you go. I'm with Nico. I mean, I haven't really looked at the race because for some reason I started at the back of the card and then worked from the front and never met in the middle. So I missed race 3, but it's worked out well because Nico's labeled Stay the Course. I'm happy to banker in the bipod and banker in the PA. Good to get some confidence. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to race 4 now, Neil. It's a maiden plate fillies and mares, 1,700 meters. Here you can scratch number 1, Bold Decision is out. Also, number 5, Indria has come through as a late scratching this morning, Neil. So the 5, Indria, is also a withdrawal here. No rider yet for the 2, Burmese Tiara. Calvin Habib obviously nursing that injury he sustained on Sunday. Rapid Charge, the 7's ridden by Wesley Mowing. An interesting booking over there in the 4th race for Stewie Pettigrew. Right, so we've got a field of 8 runners. Lucky Shamrock is the favorite here at 28-10, just did a Rapid Charge at 3-1, and High Flyby at 33-10. And Magic Town, Neil, is at 7-2. So there's pretty much a little bit to choose between the top 4 in the market. Your thoughts?
I think it's a wonderful opportunity for one filly to get out of the maidens, and it might not be a filly, it might be a mare. And the only mare in the race is Lucky Shamrock. I think the significance here is the weight for age, and it's not a particularly strong maiden. There might be some fillies, 3-year-old fillies, that can improve, but generally speaking, as I mentioned earlier on, I see these maidens only getting stronger in the next 2-3 months as some of the bigger 3-year-olds who've been weighted with start coming out. And so I don't think this is a strong field. And if Lucky Shamrock is to shed her maiden, this is probably the race in which she should do it. She has 2 things going, huge things going for her. The fact that Samanga Kamalo is back on top of her. He nearly won on her when he finished 3rd, just beaten basically a neck or so. And I think that Lucky Shamrock has got a great chance of shedding her maiden. She is a 5-year-old, but relatively speaking, she's had the 16 starts. It's not like she's had 36 or 38, and she's obviously had her problems. And I think that Tyrant Zaki's got in a good space. So I think she'll go close to winning. The 3-year-olds all could improve. High Flyby is an ideal world who has run behind a stable companion when she went to Grable when Supreme Quest ran, who ran a nice race again on Gold Cup Day. The negative there perhaps is the 9 draw, but all of these, of course, are going 1,700. They should be getting 11 kilograms from Lucky Shamrock.
That's right. Yeah.
Should be getting 11, and they're getting 3. So it really is a chance for Lucky Shamrock. It's also a bit of a chance for Burmese Tiara to improve. And
you know who she's the half sister to? You know she's the half sister to?
No.
Imperial Ruby, who won the Gold Bowl.
Okay.
Now,
So
now,
yes, she'll love the 1700.
well, on the mother's side, but a couple of Vaals are known to go a trip. I mean, we think of that horse, Princess of Light. I think
Yes,
that was
correct.
a Vaal. I think she was that ran.
No, she was, yeah.
Yeah, that she ran a good 2 miles. So I thought Burmese Tiger, Neil, Burmese Tiara rather, was the unknown. It was a dark horse here. I like Lucky Shamrock. I like your thinking of Lucky Shamrock, but I believe that Burmese Tiara could well be an improver over the trip and could be looking for this.
Yeah, I agree with you. 2 draw, 4-year-old out of a Sadler's Wells mare, as you mentioned. The only thing is, we don't know who the jockey is, and that's
we don't know.
fairly critical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we don't.
Be fairly critical. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, not too sure there. Neil, of the younger horses, I did a bit of studying here, and of the younger horses, I like Magic Town, the 8. I really like her to run well. Dennis Schwartz for Lucky Dark, because we spoke about it on Tuesday, gets some good stats there. And I looked at a bit of collateral form on the 3-year-olds, and I came up with Magic Town as being the best of the 3-year-olds. I thought I'd like Time Request. But on the sire side, I think Time Thief is more a breeder of sprinter 7 furlong horses. Time Thief, I don't know what his stats are with horses that go at this sort of trip, but I believe that for me, of the younger horses, Magic Time, but it's got to beat Lucky Shamrock or Burmese Tiara, and that was my assessment of it. So, would you bank a Lucky Shamrock in the PA then?
No, I wouldn't, because she's my clear first choice. But yeah, I mean, she's not exactly gone to Hollywood, and this is her 17th start. Yeah, look, smaller perms, you can take your chance and bank a Lucky Shamrock. But like you, I would go a little bit wider. I would definitely put in 2 Burmese Tiara, and I would put in 8 Magic Town for sure. I've been disappointed with Rapid Charge, Nico. I know she's beautifully related. She's related to Surcharge, but and the thing is, she got beaten by Lucky Shamrock. She got beaten over 2 lengths by Lucky Shamrock behind Crusade to Royalty.
And she's up 2 kilos.
And she's up 2 kilos, and I think Kamala will confirm that form. So for me, to answer your question, for the PA, I'm going 2, 3, and I was looking for one other, so I'm happy to go 8 Magic Town.
Okay, that's the 4th race. As we move on to the 5th now, race 5, another maiden, but this is restricted to 3-year-olds over 1,600 meters. There are a couple of scratchings here. Number 2, Mike the Pilot, is out, as well as number 7, Pomodoro Hills. Those 2 come out of the 5th race. Jockey changes. Ryan Munger now rides number 5, Silver Watch. Tristan Godden had the ride, but now Ryan Munger's on it. And number 9, Tiger Fly, is the mount of Brian Nyawo. Also in race 5, number 5, Silver Watch, has a tongue tie on. So it's 13-10 Flinders Range, 16-10 This Generation, and 3-1 Blonde Act.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start reverse order with numbers. I'm going to start with number 8, This Generation, who I think you've got to respect purely because of the money on the debut. There was a significant amount of money for This Generation on debut, and it was slow away, never got in the race, and obviously has been showing a lot more at home. I didn't particularly like him on that day anyway, because horses that make their debut over a mile normally tells me that it's not showing much pace at home anyway. That's the way the race panned out. He was slow into stride, never got in the race. But the run will have brought him on enormously, and it's not a strong field. So I think you've got to respect number 8, This Generation, but it's not my first choice, and I wouldn't have been taking 2-1, never mind 16-10. In terms of the PA and the bipod, I would be happy to put it in. My clear first choice, Nico, is actually not the 1, Flinders Range, but that's only because of the value decision. I respect him, and I think he'll run his races. He's got some excellent form, and Muzzy rides, and I think he'll run in the top 3 because he's run by an Led of Breed and a Rain in Holland, of course, who keeps winning. But I think the big runner here against Smunger on number 3, Blonde Act. He ran on debut behind Smorgasbord. That form's excellent. He now steps up to a mile. I think he's going to appreciate the mile. And he's drawn 2. And of course, he has been gelded. And I think that the last run, he probably would have needed a little bit. And I think he's the real improver here. So for me, it's going to be 3, and then 1 and 2 is much of a muchness. Can't really split those, but 3 Blonde Act is my clear first choice. I do want to just mention the 6 Master of Coin. He's out of a Seesaw mare. Craig Zaki picks up the ride, and he might improve into Quartets, the back end of Quartets, number 6 Master of Coin. But for me, Nico, a clear first choice, number 3 Blonde Act.
Okay. Well, Neil, I made it between the top ones in the market, so I'm not going to depart too much from you. I like your confidence on Blonde Act, so I'm going to go with your confidence. My first choice would probably be Flinders Range, because it is a straight mile, Neil. And this generation, only having his second run, he might just, require a bit more. But the fact that Flinders Range, if you look 3 runs back, was over the Vaal 14 ran second to Laird of Breeden, who's come out and franked that form, by the way, since his maiden. It is a straight mile, and I believe that I prefer the Flinders Range's Blonde Acts of this world to this generation and having a second start. But I put all 3 in terms of the pick 6. I don't want to go out, and I'm going to put all 3 in the pick 6 here. But in terms of the PA, I'm happy to just take 1 or 3 or both in the PAs.
1 or 3 is fine, yeah.
Yeah.
I would put in the bipod 1 and 3. I mean, you don't want to go, if you get a result, for example, if you get a result that the 1 beats the 6, you don't want to be going out because you didn't put the 3, or the 3 beats the 6 and you didn't put the 1 in.
Yeah.
So 1 and 3 for me in the bipod and the PA.
Okay, so there we go. That's Neil's selection there. He quite likes Blonde Act, who has got excuses for that last run when only 5 lengths behind, 5.7 lengths behind. But the fact of the matter is that he has been gelded recently. It's his second run after gelding, and he might be the value there at 3-1. As we move on to the 6th race, Neil, this is where you principally take over in terms of your selections. It's a classified stakes over 1,000 meters, so we'll come to that in a moment. So let me just tell you the changes in the 6th race. There are no scratchings, there are no jockey changes, and number 6 Ramsey, Alamites in front, Unshod behind. Now, we've been banging on about classified stakes races for a long time in terms of the fillies, and people have got used to us saying that, but most of the race here are fillies. There's a lot of fillies entered here, but over the shorter trips, the weight advantage is not as much as it would ordinarily be for a longer distance race. Now, this horse, Big-Eyed Girl's just turned 3. She's at 8-10. She faces up against a lot more experienced campaigners today in the form of Melvin, Magic Choice, Alex the Great, and Madame Patrice, who've had a lot more runs. Your assessment of it, the younger horse up against the elders?
Well, she's obviously very good, the daughter of Vercingetorix, and it wouldn't surprise me if she were to win. Because she's obviously progressive, she's got a pedigree, and she's been very impressive. But one can't get away from the fact that she is a 3-year-old filly carrying 58.5, and she's got to give Madame Patrice, for example, 4 kilograms here. Madame Patrice was a bit disappointing on, was it Tuesday or the weekend?
Ran on Tuesday. No, ran on Tuesday. Ran 7th, and it was beaten 4 3/4 lengths by On Cue.
Yeah, which was disappointing. It wasn't a great run, but that was in a fillies and mares handicap, and she is a little bit in and out. So the key here is, I suppose, Alex the Great, because Magic Choice, if you go back to the run on the 27th of May, was beaten a short head by Alex the Great, but is 4 kilograms better off. And that's because it's obviously in a classified.
Yeah, it gets. They get 1.5 kilos. They get 1.5 kilos sex allowance. Yeah, in a classified stakes for the fillies.
So Magic Choice. So listen to me nicely, because this is going to make no sense. Okay, what I'm actually saying.
All right.
But my final punchline is going to surprise you. Okay, so Magic Choice is 4 kilograms better off than with Alex the Great for only a neck. So effectively, Magic Choice should be 4 lengths in front. But if you look at Madame Patrice on the 27th of May run, which is the same race, Madame Patrice is down 4 kilograms. So actually, Madame Patrice is 4 kilograms better off with Magic Choice, and was only beaten 3.25. So in actual fact, although Magic Choice should beat Alex the Great comfortably, Madame Patrice should beat both of them.
Yeah.
The problem is that then you have a look at the two runs, Bella Chica and See My Vision, and Madame Patrice doesn't produce what she's supposed to have. Now, one of our tipping colleagues, we don't really engage with much, but we watch from afar, which is I think his name Darren Burrows, eh? Darren. Darren Burrows, I think, labeled number 7 Madame Patrice on Tuesday, and I can understand why, because she should, on previous form, she should really have run better, but she's a 5-year-old mare. She's a bit in and out, and I think she went below.
She runs inconsistently.
The problem is this, and so too does Magic Choice. So my statement is, even though this is a classified stakes race, and even though Alex the Great is badly in, I think with him, you're going to get a run, because he's going to run to his form.
Yes.
And that means those other two fillies have to find their form. Now, neither of them have been particularly reliable.
Well, you know what Hewitson said about Magic Choice the last time. He said, "Don't back her on the way she goes down to the start, because you'll do your money." Well, she didn't necessarily do anything great. She ran 2.5 lengths behind Money Fight. She ran an okay race. She ran better than she went down to the start, but it's even harder, I think, today for her. So she isn't the most soundest of individuals.
So I'm probably going to have an egg on my face here, but I'm doing something different. I'm actually going against what my brain's telling me. I'm going for my gut feel. And my gut feel is that Alex the Great, despite the fact he's in the wrong race, and despite the fact that he's not well handicapped, I think he'll run well. But my value play, Nico, I'm not going just Alex the Great. My value play is the 5, Country Mile. People are going to think I'm married to Smunger. I think this is about the 4th race I've gone for him. And that is a bonus. That is a massive bonus, by the way, that he's riding it. But the key to me is the Dalgety Bay run, where Magic Choice and her both met.
Right.
And she's down 3.5 kilograms, and so is Magic Choice. So they are identical.
Yeah.
And she beat her. She beat her by half a length. Admittedly, the run before that, Magic Choice beat her quite comfortably.
Yeah, on the run to Flash Rock, yes. Yeah.
But I'm thinking, again, is Magic Choice able to consistently reproduce that? She's a bit in and out. And she ran a week ago, so. Yes. So I'm just taking a contrary opinion here, and I might be completely wrong. I might go out the PA here, but I'm going 1 and 5 in the PA, which is crazy, but that's what I'm doing.
Okay, and you're not on. I'm going to ask about Big Eyed Girl. Obviously, it is a bit of a tall order with her that she has to give weight to her elders. But what I wanted to try and do, and I just haven't had the time to do it, because to try and compare, because Bella Chica and On Cue,
yes.
Or Bella Chica and There She Goes, rather, who Big Eyed Girl ran to, would have come up. There would have been there's some collateral form line to compare the 2-year-old form, even though Big Eyed Girl's only run against 2-year-olds. I think it was the horse On Cue that I started studying. How On Cue related to Bella Chica in order to get where Big Eyed Girl fits into the picture. And then you can bring that into the picture on that. So that's what I intend doing after this. I know it doesn't help anyone now, but my gut feel is that I'd be with the older horses here rather than the 8 to 10 about Big Eyed Girl. That's my gut feel. And I'm quite happy to go Alex the Great. Funny enough, I didn't like Magic Choice on the way down to the start, only after Lyle Hewitson pointed it out. So I'd be inclined from an older horse perspective to go Madame Patrice Country Mile further down there. And even, Neil, at a ludicrous price, Ramsey, for some reason. I know that if you look at the Bella Chica line, Ramsey's got Madame Patrice beat. if you strictly look at that Balachica form line, because it receives 4 kilos from it. But then if you compare Ramsey to Bridge of Spies, for example, on the Elysian Chief run, you see that Bridge of Spies has got beat. So it becomes extremely muddled there. But I'm inclined to say that the older horses for me, it's a tough race. Not the easiest of races. I like your boldness
Well, I
and
was
your.
just looking, and it stems from the fact that Big Eye Girl can win. She can clearly win because she could be anything, but I don't think she's any value at all odds on giving weight to older fillies, so even if they're a bit streaky as they are, a little bit in and out. But I think for me, the value play is definitely Country Girl. I mean,
Yeah.
12 to 1, you're not going to get hurt.
Country Mile, yeah.
That's my each way play.
Okay, Neil. By the way, I've a couple of jockey changes have updated, so I can tell you that that horse Burmese Tiara that we were talking about earlier on is now to be ridden by Chase Morjan. So Chase Morjan rides Burmese Tiara. That was the one missing, and then I think Paka Imali, did that have a rider? That was Cabello Matsignani rides Paka Imali in race 2, and I think that's it. Now, in this race, I can tell you that Elder de Meyer gets aboard Funky Music. So that is a late change. That Elder de Meyer now rides Funky Music, and that is big, yeah. So
that is big, Nico, because I actually wrote here, Nico, because I know you liked it last time.
I did like it last time.
It flew up very late. I think that, you know, if he'd been about a hand here, he might have been in. Whatever it was the race. I don't know, but between us, we called the trifecta because I liked whatever the other horses were.
Well, Imperial Master won the race.
Ran second. It was we liked for second.
Yeah, we did like the second horse. I'll go back and have a look at it now just to pick it up.
Because I think I caught swingers with the second horse. I think it was obviously the second horse I liked, and then you were
Conetra was the second horse.
quite bullish on Funky Music, so I put it in.
Conetra was the horse that we.
No, it was Conetra.
It was Conetra. That was the price booster.
Price booster.
That's right. Yeah. So that was the price booster.
So, and the stable is in form. Ashley Fortune's Yard's runners ran very nicely on Tuesday. Aldo rides. I think that's a big runner, Nico. Yeah, it's a nice runner there.
Now, Neil,
I actually liked a bit of the scratching. And my first choice was the 6, Noble Striker.
Yeah, Noble Striker's out. Neil, the interesting thing here, looking at this betting, 1, 2, 3, 5 horses are under 7 to 2. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, that just shows you how open it is. Your feelings on Global Ransom with Warren Kennedy?
No, I don't particularly like that. Let me just go there. I don't think I like that.
And then Money Fighter, Neil, was the subject of a big betting coup last summer. Got up to beat After Hours.
Yes. Well, After Hours is now 1.5 kilograms better off.
Yes.
Theoretically, should reverse them. Money Fighter's race was interesting because we were at soccershop.bet. We were watching the race with Lance, and I think Lance had laid quite a bit of Money Fighter. And as they went past the 400, Money Fighter looked beaten. I mean, he was not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I made a mental note, and I thought to myself, well, he's struggling. And then Gavin Lorena got the absolute best out of him. He took off, and it was quite interesting because as they went past the post, Lance said almost to himself, he said, how the hell did that win? And I looked at him, I said, I felt the same. I said, at the 400, I thought it was gone. So I got to respect Money Fighter. He found an extra gear, and in its own way, it was quite an impressive win. But he's got 1.5 kilograms now to ship to After Hours. So he's been pretty consistent. And as you know, I've been for him the last 2.
Yes.
Quite big prices.
Yes, you have.
So I've got to stay with him because he's producing some form. I prefer if he wasn't drawn 1, but I suppose it's not a big field. So for me, I was going to go 5, 3, 1. I'm now going to go 5 or 1 or 1 and 5 because I'm really elevating Funky Music quite a bit with Aldo. But I suppose, I don't know, Nico, can he give, I'm talking about Funky Music now, can he give 3 kilograms, actually 4 kilograms to After Hours? It's quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quite a bit. but I feel he's capable. I think he's a nice horse, Funky Music. I think he's progressive. But somehow I believe that After Hours is well overdue, Neil, for another win. I mean, it's been 301 days since its last win, so it's getting a bit long in the tooth. So it's almost been a year. But I think that surely After Hours can produce the goods today. And we'll wait to see. I see the betting's gone off on After Hours, so there might have been a claim there because it was in the betting, but it's now not. So as we're talking about it, it suddenly disappeared off the screen there. Okay, so that's the betting for race 7. And Neil makes it between 1, 3, and 5. I tend to agree with him. I haven't studied the race, but I think that if I had to add anything extra to that, I might put in Global Ransom, but he definitely doesn't beat the ones that Neil's mentioned there. So let's move on to the 8th and last race now. And here it is. And let's just quickly take a look at the changes in the 8th race. In race 8, jockey changes. Number 2, Midnight Caller is now the mount of Ryan Munger. Tristan Godden did have the ride, but Ryan Munger's got that now. Warren Kennedy rides Ramchandani Road, number 5. In terms of the other changes, number 3, Miracle Wonder has a tongue tie fitted. A tongue tie to the 5, Ramchandani Road. And number 7, Midnight Gem races with a pressure halter. So we tipped Blue Eyes at 25 to 1 last time out, and I was pulling my hair out because I thought he'd hang on, and suddenly the fancied Severescent came up and beat him. I really fancied him at 25 to 1, and he didn't win. I'm not going to be backing him at 19 to 10, that's for sure. But I haven't studied the card in this one, so I'm open to your suggestions here. There's a novice handicap, Neil, over 1,200 meters. So it is an opportunity to make some money or to find out which horse is well in here. What was your feeling?
Well, my feeling, like you, Nico, was I had to blink 10 times to see that Blue Eyes was 2 to 1. 2 to 1?
Yeah.
No ways. No ways. And I know and I don't think it's only because we backed him at 25 to 1 last time and we got mugged on the line.
Yeah.
I just think that he's no value at 2 to 1 at all. So having started off on that statement, I'm going to try and beat Blue Eyes. Let me analyze it. I got quite excited over the page with 2 of the outsiders, Father Time and Speechmaker. But then when I actually studied, they're both under sufferance. And that doesn't all go well for their chances. So I came back to where the form lies. I'm going to start with a horse that is not in my good books. He's not in my good books at all. And so I've got a bit of a quandary with him of what to do, because I think he's quite well in again, but he's let me down. I wrote here, has let me down, exclamation mark. And I'm talking about number 5, Ramchandani Road.
I knew you were going to say that.
Rode him. I had a very big, I had a massive bet, not only on the wins, but the places. I thought, Pierre rode him and he was well in.
Yeah.
And then he went down to Durban. And I didn't back him because he was drawn 12 out of 12. But I thought he'd run well, and he just folded a bit like a cheap deck chair. But I think he's well in here, Ramchandani Road, and he's 9 to 1. And the fact that Warren Kennedy's got the ride puts me in a bit of a quandary, because I don't think I should let him run loose. But I just wanted to start off with him. But he's not going to be my first choice because of the history I have with the horse, but he owes me a few.
Yes.
So to come back to what I like is I actually respect Miracle and Wonder, the filly, a lot here. She's been running in fillies and mares 85s, 88s, and 83s. This is a novice. If you look at Midnight Caller has been running in merit rated 80s, okay, and also ran in the Derby trial and the South African Derby, and I respect. So Miracle and Wonder has been running in slightly higher fillies and mares company than Midnight Caller, but she's got to carry the same weight as Midnight Caller, which I think evens it out. So, and if you look at the betting, then clearly the value is in Midnight Caller. Midnight Caller is 10 to 1. So I like that a little bit. And the other horse that we've got to talk about, which I think is some value, is number 7, Midnight Gem, because you mentioned Philip Labuschagne yard had back-to-back winners, which we tipped on Tuesday. Interesting that Jeffrey Saister doesn't get a ride here. You'd have thought after Tuesday, but I suppose the declarations were done already.
Before that, yeah.
Yeah, because he did ride this when she ran second to Big City Girl, which was an excellent run. But anyway, Dennis Schwartz takes over. If Jeffrey Saister was on board, I'd have a big bet. Not because Dennis Schwartz isn't any good, but because of the weight. Because obviously Jeffrey Saister...
it would carry 54. Yeah.
Carried 54. But I've got to respect Midnight Gem. So to cut to the chase, Mojan, as it were, to cut to the chase, Blue Eyes I'm going to try and beat.
Yeah, I
don't like Grappler, Nico, particularly, hey? I mean, you know that horse well.
Yeah.
And he won his maiden. He went from a 73 to a 77. I don't know. Not off 60 kilograms. I can't have Grappler.
Yeah, he's been off for the track for 4 months as well. So he's had a bit of a break in that, and he has to lump that weight on. Neil, listening to you talking, two horses that we've been for before, one of them being Midnight Caller. We've been for numerous times before. I thought that, he's a better horse than he actually is, and he's not. Ryan Munger, I think I mentioned, gets the chance to ride on him. He comes to 1,200 meters and that, but he's let me down too many times. I've almost lost interest in him. I'm prepared to give Ramchandani Road another chance, Neil. The Clinton Binder stable have been
the right horse.
Well,
the right horse,
I think
with Kennedy on.
Yeah, so Neil, I'm thinking it, but you know what? The Clinton Binder form worries me a bit. I know that Clinton's had a number of seconds. I mean, at least 4 or 5, maybe even 5 or 6 seconds recently. But he hasn't had a winner, I think, since the middle of April. The stable, the Binder stable, haven't had a winner since the middle of April. So that's April, May, June, July, over 3 months now. So I'd like it to turn for them. And if it is going to turn, it could well be this horse. They put the tongue tie on, Neil, which might well make the difference. And Warren Kennedy as well has ridden him before. So I'm happy with that. But I'm leaning.
We're spending a lot of time on this race. But I do want to point out one run.
Yeah.
Right, because Midnight Gem, I've mentioned, and it's got to be a runner with the yard being in form and with some good form. But if you go back to the collateral form lines and the form right at the top there, Midnight on the 25th of March, Midnight Gem beat Ramjandani Road by half a length, but is down 1 kilogram, and Ramjandani Road is down 4.
Right.
So Ramjandani Road is 3 kilograms better off for half a length. And that's why I'm saying Ramjandani Road, it's the reason why I'd been going for him before, but he hasn't delivered. He's been very disappointing his last 2. Maybe you're right. Maybe the addition of Tongue Tie and Warren Kennedy is going to help, but it's not like he's had bad riders. I mean, Kennedy's ridden him a couple of times. Pierre rode him and Keegan DeMella rode him. So he has been disappointing. But the way you're talking about, I'm going to maybe give him one last chance today, certainly at 9-1 Ramjandani Road.
Just want to bring something else to your attention. I just noticed right now. Look at Grappler's maiden win last time out. Beat Eyes on Tiger by 3/4 of a length. Look at Ramchandani Road's win in the maidens over Eyes on Tiger.
Yeah. So there's half a length between them.
For 4 kilos.
4 kilograms. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm leaning towards Ramchandani Road. I wanted to change for Clinton Binder, and I think that I'd end up going with that. But that said, I do like Midnight Gem, and I respect your feeling on Miracle and Wonder. Have you done the collateral between Miracle and Wonder and Midnight Gem? Was there collateral lines between them? Why did you like Miracle and Wonder? You said you liked that a bit.
Miracle and Wonder. No, only because she'd been campaigning in 85 handy.
Okay, fine, yeah.
I think she's a runner, but I also felt 57.5. That's why I was leaning towards something a little bit further down the handicap.
Okay.
You know, I like, so to sum up, Ramjandani Road, if I wasn't so hurt by the fact that he owes me money, because I really did, I had a massive bet on that day with BC, and it was before the July, and I took doubles and everything into Ramjandani Road.
Yeah.
And I was astonished. And it wasn't a typical Pierre ride, because you'd expect Pierre to sit at the back, and he went up handy, and I thought,
Yeah.
Oh, why is he so
Yeah.
handy? And it folded like a cheap jet. It took me about a week to recover how badly that ran that day.
Yeah. Okay.
So there we go.
Okay, so that could be the value in the race for that last race of the day. So it begs the question now, as we come to the end of our discussion, if we've got a price booster for our soccershop.bet followers. By the way, congratulations to those 2 winners from the other day. I hope that both Michael and Kamir have received their calls from soccershop.bet and are betting with that R1,000 each. But what are we going to do in terms of a price booster, Neil? What did you think?
Well, I don't know. Ramchandani Road, we just spent a lot of time talking about, but he's 9-1. He's already a decent enough price. What did we like in common? Well, I mean, if you're that bullish on, if you want to win bets, I mean, it might help you if you went for race 3, number 2, stay the course. You'll probably end up getting 5-2.
Yeah, we could do that. I'm happy to do that from a win perspective. Shall we go? Shall we go win on that and a place on Ramchandani?
That horse. I can't tell you how.
Let's give it one more chance.
Okay, we'll give it one more chance. I like the booking of Warren Kennedy. And you say it's got tongue tie, eh?
It's got a tongue tie on. Yeah, it's got a tongue tie on. So that could be the difference.
Go for that then. Ramchandani.
Are we gonna each way Ramchandani or just places? Each way. It might well win. Okay. So we'll go a win on stay the course, who I'm pretty bullish on, and each way. So there's 3 price boosters, so each one Ramchandani Road. Neil, thanks very much. And just to remind everyone out there, what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. I've got it here. I hope you've got it there, but here we go. There's a sale coming up.
Yes, the August 2-year-old sales coming up, which is fantastic. It's a very strong catalogue. There's a lot of Water Winters there. There's United States. They're all there. A couple of Give Me the Green Lights, which just surprises me because I thought we'd bought them all.
Yeah, correct. So we'll be there in attendance, and we'll be talking about this certainly within the next couple of weeks because it comes up on the 20th and 21st of August. So it starts in exactly 2 weeks today. There's 2 days of sale out at the TBA Sales Complex, and no doubt we'll be chatting about that and bringing up to speed with some news on that in the next fortnight or so. I also chat to Lyle Hewitson coming up in the next day or two about his impending departure to Japan. What he did tell me, though, is that his visa has been delayed. So he was due to leave on the 8th, Neil, which is Sunday, but he has definitely been delayed. So he's not going to be leaving too soon, but we'll chat to him about his successes in the past season and what he's looking forward to going back to Japan. Thanks very much, Neil, and we'll speak to you on Saturday again.
Thanks, Nico.